What's up, my people? You're not tuned in to Me TV. Now, we gonna bring you all the stories about the stories that we need to bring you stories about. You feel me? So, that's what we gonna do. Some stories might be good, some stories might be tragic, but hey man, that's how these stories go. I don't make it up.
This is the 13-year-old girl who was murdered in Orange County. It happened on the 4th of July. And the man on the right is the man who is accused of killing her. So we have learned that he was a complete stranger. Investigators believe this attack was random.
It's just so scary. A 13-year-old. Stephanie Buffatti does speak to family members there, as you can imagine, are still mourning her death.
We saw the phone and the shoes on the stairs, and then there was blood on the stairs right before the first step.
A day that will forever haunt DuPierre Collin. He thought his 13-year-old cousin Rose DeJuice was at her friend's apartment, who also lived at the Palmetto Lakeside complex. But that friend let him know she found his cousin's phone and shoes, but Rose never made it to her home. So Collin and Rose's brother started looking and found her in a utility closet, stabbed and partially naked.
He started knocking on the doors and stuff, checking to see if anybody knows something or if they see her or anything, until he opened the little room down there under the stairs, then found her inside the little room, laying down butt naked without responding.
Detectives caught 28-year-old Jerry Durisme on surveillance video. He's accused of killing her. Durisme's arrest report says video shows him buying the kitchen knife used in the crime just minutes before the murder. People in the complex told investigators he was homeless and hung out in the area.
Nothing, because that's not gonna do nothing. Arrest him, he's still alive. Rose gone. She's not coming back no more.
Rose was a student at Memorial Middle School. She was close to her family, especially her brother, her cousin translating for him.
He said that he was really close to her. He still can't believe that she's gone and stuff. Whenever he closes his eyes and stuff, it's like she's there.
Rose and her brother moved from Haiti to Orlando for a better life about a year ago. But now her family is mourning her loss, heartbroken, devastated, and still trying to comprehend this tragedy.
She was a sweet little girl, friendly. She smiled a lot. Oh yeah, she was everything to us.
In Orlando, Stephanie Buffatti, Fox
of a
35
judge this
News.
morning.
Yeah, we've been following this investigation since investigators found 13-year-old Rose DeJuice on July 4th. And as West 2's Bob Hazen explains, her accused killer didn't say anything in court this morning.
Can you tell me your name? Okay. Does anyone have his ID on there, or?
28-year-old Jerry Durisme, wearing a suicide prevention smock, stayed silent and stared blankly, barely moving, while a judge read the charges against him. He's in jail, accused of stabbing and killing 13-year-old Rose DeJuice at the Palmetto at Lakeside Apartments. She was found in a closet under a stairwell.
Charged pursuant to a warrant with first-degree felony murder.
West 2 obtained court documents showing that investigators say they have surveillance video capturing Durisme buying the knife at a store just minutes before he allegedly followed Rose into the complex. We also learned more about a previous encounter with deputies that happened back in June. Investigators say someone called 911 because Durisme was walking in front of a daycare in Pine Hills while carrying a knife. When they confronted him then, they write, quote, he was rambling about being chased by a female named Kat. He was also rambling about not wanting to talk to Russians. Deputies say Durisme punched the deputies, but they were able to take him down. Records show they then had him committed involuntarily to a mental health facility under the Baker Act. The sheriff's office says it sent criminal charges to the state attorney's office for that case, but prosecutors did not file it until after Rose was murdered. Now, Durisme is being held in jail with no bond for murder and for battery on a law enforcement officer. In Orange County, Bob Hazen, West 2 News.
Yo, you already know. If you made it this far, man, hit that sub and show some love, man. And if you returning to the channel, like and share if you care. And for all my new people as well, man, drop down in the comments and let me know where you watching and where you listening from. You feel me? And drop down for any comments that you might have about the story. But as you can see in the news clips, to give y'all some type of background, this 13-year-old immigrant girl named Rose DeJust was, how could I say, heinously beaten and unalived under a stairwell in an apartment that she lived in. But what the news clips don't really tell you, that she was trying to escape, or her mother was trying to get her away from a life up in Haiti that had no promise, that had no real good future for her daughter. So she sent the 13-year-old to Florida by her relatives. And once she did this, less than a year later, less than a year later, her daughter is no longer here. Now you have to put yourself in the mother's shoes. I know a lot of people might hear this story and ask where the mother was at, but put yourself in her shoes. Now Haiti probably wasn't any better to live in or any better for her daughter, right? So if you had the decision to send yourself or to send your daughter to a place that seemed to be safer or seems to have more opportunity, which one would you do? Now, this is a situation where I feel like the judicial system and just the American system, period, whether it's just Florida or not, the American system has failed, has definitely failed. I don't know exactly who it failed, but in this story, besides the mother of the daughter and the young girl herself, because this should have never happened. But this guy, as far as the system failing, this guy should have never been free. He should have never been a free man. He should have been in somebody's psych ward, somebody's psych hospital, because this individual had an extensive, long record. And his record included SAs. You feel what I'm saying? So he sexually assaulted some young girls earlier before this even happened. And I would say this was probably a year earlier that he done this. And the situation and circumstances behind that he had a roommate, and his roommate had a daughter, and his daughter had a friend, and he ended up holding holding the two young teen girls, or the two young girls as hostages, and held them in a room with a metal or a steel bed frame. And one of the little girls jumped off the second-story balcony to actually escape him. He actually was charged with this. He actually went through litigations. He was sentenced to a year, but for some reason he only served 1 month. Now I don't know on a scale from 1 to 3 how severe these charges was, because you have level 1 felonies, level 2 felonies, level 3 felonies. I don't know exactly where this stood at on the situation, but in 30 days he was able to get out. And him getting out, he was he has been seen at these apartment complexes where everything happened a lot, because he had once lived in these apartments before at an earlier time. So I'm pretty sure the people wasn't too unfamiliar with seeing him. But upon this day, he decided to go to the store, a store around them that was very close to them, and buy a kitchen knife. Yes, he bought a kitchen knife. And as you can see him with this green suit on this picture, this is a suicide. Because this is a suicide vest, because this guy is suicidal. These are the clothing that they put on you when you enter jail and you're very suicidal and you have different disorders. And inside of these jail cells, they don't have no mental hospitals. They don't have nobody that, let me say this, inside of these jails, they don't have nobody that gives a fuck. Point blank, period. Now, I know I might be rambling about the suspect a little longer than usual, but at the end of the day, they are the reason why he was even out to even do these things. He already had a track record of doing crazy and unexplained things like this. Like he had a criminal record. So this was might have been unbeknownst to the people that's around him, but the police definitely know this. So that's neither here or there. Although I'm never trying to justify what he did, I just want y'all to get an insight on how bad these prisons be, how ass backwards that these judicial systems be. You feel me? Because these don't help nobody. This young lady would still be alive and he would still be incarcerated if they would have played their parts right. So as you can see on this particular picture, he has something over his shoulder. That's a bag that he had just got out the store from buying a 10 or 11 inch kitchen knife. Now think about it. This young lady walking in broad daylight, not having no idea that this man is tracking her down. And just imagine her last words or her last instances. Now, it wasn't said exactly if she was stabbed, if she was strangled, or whatever. It just was said she was unalive. She was no longer living under the stairwell in the storage closet after she been SA'd. You feel what I'm saying? Or great, should I say. But let me tell y'all something. Y'all gotta be more aware when y'all have these daughters walk into a friend house, whether it's daylight, whether it's not. And this happens way, way too much. This guy was supposed to be in jail. What he did was despicable. And he definitely gonna pay for what he did. But this is definitely an unfortunate situation that happened in Orlando, Florida, with a 13-year-old immigrant who was only here in this country for 1 year. This is definitely a sad story. That's why you gotta be aware. Mothers, you have to be aware. Fathers, you have to be aware. Brothers, you have to be aware. Cousins, you have to be aware. If you want to see your people live on and survive these tough streets and these tough times, you gotta make sure you have their back in some type of way, because it could easily happen to you. It can happen to you at midnight, or it can happen to you in broad daylight. Unfortunately, this situation was one of those situations where you never really want to hear and you never really want to speak about. But drop down in the comments and let me know how y'all feel about this whole entire situation, because I'm going to be back with another one on Me TV 1.0, man. I appreciate all the love. I appreciate all the likes. I appreciate all the views, man. If you rocking with me, hit that like and hit that share. Let me know you care. I'll be back with another one on Me TV 1.0, yeah.